Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and it is an important conversation that the American people need to be aware of. And to put it into context, similar to what you talked about, anytime another civilization starts controlling their people, whether it's in the form of fascism or communism or any kind of collectivism, socialism, it starts taking away the freedom of individual people. And when you take away freedom, you crush the human spirit. The human spirit was designed to be free to make choices, moral choices of good and bad, right and wrong, to show respect for other human beings. And so history repeats itself. Hitler rose, and we had to stop that controlling tyrant. Then we had the Soviet Union, and Reagan was able to bring that down with a strategy appropriate for the Soviet Union. And now we have China that is emerging in the same way. You look at the evidence of how they're treating the Uyghurs, how they're lying to their people about the coronavirus, how they're treating those in Hong Kong, how they control through social media your behavior through incentives, meaning if you don't act consistent with the party, you can't send your kids to the right schools, you can't buy the good groceries, you can't own a home, you can't get credit, you can't thrive, you can't prosper. This is a threat to America. And it's not just because they're controlling their people. We love the Chinese people. We want this to be a journey of peace. And as a national security professional, those of us that wear the uniform, our job is to be peacemakers. And you become a peacemaker by being so strategic and understanding your competition so well, culturally, socially, emotionally, that you design a strategy to win without ever having to fire a shot, without ever having to use violence. The use of violence is a failure because it denigrates this respect for every human being that is enshrined in our Constitution. But what we see with China, as a man who has studied them, I've read everything they've written, every speech they give, everything translated with a network of friends to make sure we do not miss anything in the way they organize, the way they train, the way they write doctrine. And I'm here to tell you that China has openly talked about the fact that a free society, an open system like America, is an existential threat to their survival. And that their goal is to bring back the Middle Kingdom. They still are so angry at the century of humiliation where the West, as they put it, the West killed their hero system by flooding their country with opium. It destroyed their people, it destroyed their dignity, and they are not going to take that. I can't blame them. But their leader is an open disciple of Lenin and Marxist philosophy. He is openly talking about controlling so that the party maintains control. That is his philosophy and the communist philosophy. But what makes this concerning is their strategy is different than Hitler's or the Soviet Union's. Their strategy is economic. They understand, rightfully, that the civilization that has the strongest economy is the civilization who can ensure that their values are abided by across the globe. And what we see in their behavior is their values are to lie, cheat, and steal to get any competitive advantage they need in order to dominate the market. And they have openly said that they are weaponizing the two vulnerabilities of Western civilization: energy and information. On the energy front, we know that we have built an entire energy grid that was never designed to be resilient or to be able to take a hit and keep on ticking. Yes, it can take a lightning strike here or there, but it's not designed for a determined enemy using the new techniques of directed energy that could paralyze not only our energy grid, but all of our equipment in the military or in civil society. And China is building a spatial network over the next number of years where they will have energy generation plants in space, both nuclear-powered and solar-powered, that can deliver energy to any point on planet Earth, that can be used for good, to provide affordable energy through a neural network to individuals on the planet, or in a millisecond can use it for evil if somebody else is not there with them to hold them accountable if they behave badly. And then on the information front, I think America is starting to wake up to 5G. 5G is an example of how China behaves, both in the way they are intending to dominate information globally and in the way they use it as a weapon. The reason America has no company that can answer Huawei with 5G is because China lied, cheated, and stole the intellectual property and proprietary information from Lucent Technologies, Motorola, and Nortel in the 2000s, and bankrupt those companies and built Huawei out of the carcasses of those great companies. And their pattern is to steal the information, duplicate the technology, and then flood the markets so that they put out of business anybody that would be competitive with them. And they are doing that to America right now in the space industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, in the chip industry, the drone industry, the artificial intelligence industry, the quantum industry, you name it. They are capturing those enterprises that benefit human beings in the digital age. So right now, it's not even just about the 5G network or infrastructure. It's about all the things that become the Internet of Things. You try to find a good drone made by an American company, it can't compete with the Chinese domination of that market. And they dominate the market for the same reason why America was not able to get 5G, because the theft of intellectual property of those great American companies, then the duplication of that technology, and then the flooding of the market. Now, the weaponization of energy and information to control the global narrative so that they can crash our markets anytime they want by perpetuating a lie and not being able to let the truth get out, and their ability to paralyze our economy anytime, anywhere, at a time and place of their choosing, is their long-term goal. But they watched history, and they saw Pearl Harbor, and they know that they do not want to awaken the great giant of America, because our open society, our free economy is so powerful at innovating. They know they cannot compete. Even with 1.4 billion people, they cannot compete. This is why their subtle strategy is to lie, cheat, and steal, to steal our magic sauce as an open society that respect other people and have a diversity of ideas in the mix to innovate more rapidly. They steal it, and they get it to market faster, and then they put our companies out of business. So this is an economic war. And you have to understand, they are not like the Soviet Union, who are more bold and more aggressive about stating their strategy. The Chinese are subtle, and they do not want to trigger the threshold of American anger. And that's why they work in the gray zone. They work under the threshold of our Congress or of our president. We love the Chinese people, but the Communist Party is suffocating the free spirit of humanity. And they are trying to make America go out with a whimper over a 100-year strategy to slowly and surely grow a vine around our spinal cord as a nation, using energy and information to paralyze us, and it's over before we even wake up. This is the message the American people need to hear, and I look forward to the conversation about what you as an individual American can do to solve this problem, because you can do something, and that's the power of our open society, our free market, and the fact that we believe that every human being is created equal, whether you live in China or whether you live in America. Thank you.